Hi, my name is Robert Cox, and I'm going to be going over how to insert an airway and how to open an airway. Say you walk into a room and somebody's unconscious on the floor, and it's a younger gentleman, and you have CPR training, but you don't remember how to use it. So you run out and you call 911, and you come back and check to see if he's got a pulse, and he's got a pulse. So that means he's not breathing. So you don't remember how to open the airway. The EMTs get there and they open up the airway and his pulse starts to come back. In this session, I'm going to show you how to open an airway and insert an airway adjunct. First, you have to know how to open the airway. You have two methods. You have a head tilt chin lift and you have a jaw thrust maneuver. If you use the head tilt chin lift, you have to make sure that he does not have a spinal injury. If you use the jaw thrust maneuver, he's probably going to have a spinal injury. So, to use the head tilt chin lift, you need to place one hand on the patient's forehead, two fingers under the patient's jaw, and your thumb on his chin. With pressure, gently tilt back. And then the airway is open. Go ahead and look in his mouth to the back of the throat to see if there is any foreign object or a pool of either saliva, blood, any kind of liquid. If there is, that'll need to be suctioned out before any air can be put in. For the jaw thrust, you're going to need to go ahead and put two fingers back behind the jaw where it hinges to the mandible and the maxilla, and then thrust forward. And then again, the airway will be open, and you'll need to go ahead and check to see if there's any fluid. If there is, it'll need to be suctioned. Going to insert an airway, the first airway that you can use is the oropharyngeal airway adjunct. And for this, you'll just need to insert it into the mouth, sideways or upside down, and then tilt it as it goes down. But first, you're going to need to make sure that it's the correct length. And to make sure that it's the correct length, you'll need to go ahead and measure it from the corner of your mouth to the bottom of your earlobe. Get the closest one to it, and then you can insert it. And once you get it inserted, you'll need to make sure that everything is suctioned out before you go ahead and use any air. The next one is the nasopharyngeal airway. This will go into the left nostril and go all the way back around to right behind the tongue to help keep the airway open. To insert this, you'll need to make sure that this is pointed towards the septum, and then it'll go in and all the way back. To measure this, you're going to need to go from the edge of this nostril all the way down to the bottom of the earlobe. Now, once you get either one of those open, or to get the airway in, you're going to need to give him air. You can either give him air by use of an ambu bag, which is also called the bag, whatever, the ambu bag, and you can always hook it up to oxygen. It's going to give it a lot more oxygen if you do it that way. If you don't, then you're just going to use room air. On the ambu bag, you're going to need to go ahead and one compression of the bag every 5 to 6 seconds. On the oropharyngeal airway, once he becomes conscious enough, he's probably going to start gagging. So you'll need to go ahead and remove it. So just simply remove it once he starts gagging. And if you have to, insert the nasopharyngeal airway. And that is pretty much all you need to know about airways in a basic shell.